Hey y'all, how's it going? I'm trading the ES futures on the 2000 tick chart with the 21 EMA. So I've got the overnight highs up here, overnight lows down here. They have this overnight range here. At first, you'd want to see, you'd want to try it off the bodies, but as more price action formed, it ended up fitting best here because we had this bounce right here, and a lot of this price action is before 8:30, so it ended up just fitting best right here as the overnight low. So we have this downtrend here, break, first attempt lower, second attempt lower. So we have these two attempts down after this downtrend break. So downtrend break, first time lower, second time lower, right off the overnight low. We kind of just push through it. We don't hold very well, and then we get this not very good signal bar here. And the EMA is straight down anyway, and then you bounce off the EMA, you get this breakout pullback to the overnight low, and it doesn't even reach the EMA, so there's really no reason to enter here. But after we push lower here, that's when you can get this larger downtrend here. Notice these highs, this low downtrend. We hold for a third time, so this downtrend does have a third bounce confirming it, but you don't get to the EMA, so there's no way to get in on that safely, unfortunately. So anyway, we have this downtrend break, first attempt lower, second attempt lower. Notice how it's right after that two-legged move. With this high right here, it's making this range, so it's a triple test, two-legged move back. It's the second attempt lower for this downtrend. Notice downtrend break, first attempt lower, second attempt lower. Now, you were going in this range right here, so you don't want to push it past the lows there. Say you entered with a stop order, you'd be entering, your target would have to be, a few points below the target, the range low here. So what you'd want to do is you want to go in with a limit order, which is what I did here. I forgot someone in Discord got this trade as well. I believe I saw someone post this trade. So I wish I remembered your name. I would shout you out right now. But anyway, so you push lower here, you bounce off that low. It kind of struggles to get through. We bounce off it here, we push lower here, we break out, pull back, and then after this breakout pullback here, we just take off like really strong. So notice how after we take off here, we can get this larger measured move in play. And then also after we start taking off from this point right here, we get this larger downtrend. And so at first it would be more like this. So you have this downtrend here, and we just keep going down. We get these very small corrections where we don't reach the EMA, so there's no way to get in on this if you're not, in some other trade already. Say you got a runner or something. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get in on any of these. But we overshoot, so we overshoot this trend line right here. We get this first entry short, second entry short, two legs up to the EMA. Now, we did just reach this measured move here, which is why I wouldn't want to push it past this measured move. I actually only went for 14 ticks, not 15 right here. Just to be safe, because even though we were dropping really sharply, because look at this compared to the other days, we are just dropping like crazy. This is extremely strong momentum right here. So on days like this, you really just have to, enter at the decent entries, and not worry about the setups as much, because these days don't happen that often where they just drop the entire day. You really got to take advantage of days like this. So, where was I? Right here. So after those two legs up, I like this. It was very strong. I still wasn't willing to push it past that measured move, because measured moves are important levels, even though we were dropping like crazy at this point, even just to that point right here. This is just straight down. So you still don't want to push it past a major measured move like that, so that's why I got out at 14 ticks. But we continue pushing lower, and when you overshoot, what you want to do is you want to extend it to see how price reacts off of this next level here. And we overshoot this point right here, but then we do actually retest it right here. So the price clearly reacts to this trend line here. And we get those two legs up again. It's right off the EMA. We don't get a good signal bar at first right there, but we push off very strongly here, and then you would need a limit order here because you are going right into this range right here. So you don't want to push it too far, past that, because it is going into a range right there. So that's just 1-to-1, going with the limit order, get out before those range lows here. I did push it a little bit through. I didn't mind pushing it through a little bit because, look how strong that was. This whole day has been straight down at this point. So at this point, we continue lower. We break out, have a small breakout pullback there. We don't reach the EMA on these corrections here. We just continue lower. Then we get two more legs up here. And then just to show here, I did extend this again. Notice how it actually fits right off that wick right there or let me get that exact, to bounce right off of this one right here. A lot of times you'll notice previous swings from way farther back will match up pretty well. So anyway, after we get this right here, we have another 2 attempts to reach the other side, because when you come off one side of a channel or a range, you want to see 2 attempts to reach the other side, whether it's an overshoot or a bounce. In this case, it would be an overshoot. And whether it's an overshoot or just a bounce, you want to see 2 attempts to reach the other side before continuing down in that direction. Just like in a range, say you come off range highs here, you want to see price have 2 attempts to reach the lows before entering long. So say you bounce here, you want to see first entry long, second entry long before entering long. You don't want to just enter on one leg down after coming off the highs of a range, because price will try 2 times to reach the other side, because that's how the market moves. It moves in twos. That's how second entries are formed. So same exact thing with a channel here. When you come off one side, you want to see 2 attempts to reach the other side. And so anyway, we continue down, we overshoot, and then that's when I extended it, just to see how price reacts to it. It didn't really react very well here, but at this point we're just dropping like crazy. I'm just staying with the momentum at this point. 2 legs up. It does start going a little bit sideways, and I actually waited for this right here, and I only went for 20 ticks. I didn't go for the full 22. I shaved off half a point because it was into new lows here, and and it was a little bit sideways right before the entry, so that did worry me a little bit. So I just lowered it 2 ticks at that point, but it was straight down, so I didn't mind basically going for 1 to 2. Also, it was past this low right here, which that was part of the reason why I raised it 2 ticks, was to just not push it too far past this low. But once again, with a trend like this, I mean, you gotta, you just gotta take them. So anyway, I waited for this bar right here, and then I got filled with a limit order back up here. So that's how I entered this one right here. I didn't enter on anything in here. I was looking to enter on something right here, but it never even triggered there. And by the time you got this, it's just clearly pushing down here. So that's why I like that there. And then we push lower, we get this first entry short. That's not good enough right there. It rushed above the EMA. First entry, that's too risky. Even though you're going down very strong at this point, that's just too risky right there. So we push lower, we get another first entry off the EMA, and then it kind of just goes sideways a bit. Now you got this lower high right here. I didn't take this lower high because even though it's basically just going sideways, it's not the most clear entry. So let me quickly extend this again just to show. Eventually, when I did extend it to there, that's where it ended up retesting there. But we made this new low. I wanted to see 2 pushes up here, but we just didn't get that. We only got this small second push up. I wanted to see 2 clear pushes up just to be safe, because you are shorting very low at this point, even though you got momentum. I just wanted to see more clear entries like we've been getting with these 2-legged moves here. I wasn't going to just take this kind of sideways lower high, but it does end up just dropping straight down there. And then we reach this level right here just from that right there, and then that actually ends up forming what looks like a pretty decent channel. So we have these 2 here, these 2 there, and so that's just how they work. Whenever you're dropping really fast, or say you're going up really sharply, you'll often be extending the channel slowly over time, and then eventually you'll get a cleaner looking channel. So anyway, you get this push up here, you get this first entry short, second entry short. Notice these 2 legs up here, you go above the EMA, and then you get really choppy, and I didn't want to enter in any of this right here. It's just way too choppy, but you do push down here, you get a couple legs down, you bounce up here. So now at this point you have this double bottom, and then you just kind of find more resistance at this point. You don't want to enter short directly into that, say on this entry right here. It's just too risky. But you do go down, you break out, you fade back into this range right here, and then I took this loss over here. This was a great day at first, but then I ended it off like this. And the main reason I believe that I took this loss right here was because since we've been constantly overshooting, because overshoots lead to breaks, and then we've been constantly overshooting this until we finally got a larger channel, I should have been expecting a very strong second leg up here, especially because I was so focused on the bearishness that I neglected to even draw this upward resistance right here from this trend line, and then this trend line right here. I didn't even draw it in time because I was so focused on the bearishness that I didn't really consider that there was something moving up here. Now, it's not surprising that we had a very strong bullish break because we've been overshooting the entire day. Overshoots lead to breaks. So even though, like, just looking at it like this, you don't see any overshoot, I mean, you've been overshooting the whole day. And so it's not surprising that we got a very strong break like that. So I should have expected a second possible, huge, strong leg up like that, especially considering we had this, trend line working up here, which, once again, I didn't even draw in time because I was so focused on the bearishness. But anyway, so we push up here and we start going into this uptrend here. I didn't trade a lot of this. I stopped trading probably, an hour ago or so. Now, here we push up, which let me get to the, I kind of lost track of where I was exactly. Anyway, we break out of the range up here, we fade back in, and then we get this uptrend break. First attempt higher, second attempt higher. So it was after this measured move right here that I took this trade. And so that's why I liked it. It wasn't a complete measured move, but it was basically two legs up right there. It's clear that they were connected. Right after this uptrend had a break, uptrend break, first attempt higher, second attempt higher. I was thinking we could have gotten a second leg down here, after the break of this downtrend. Which this downtrend, it didn't have a third confirming bounce off of it, but it was still pretty clear with those two off the highs and two off the lows. But once again, I should have expected a second large leg up because we had been overshooting all day and constantly extending it. So, oh, whoops. Anyway, so that is what ended up screwing me up there. Once again, had that uptrend kind of forming right there, I could have, at first it would be more like this. Notice how off that wick and this body, it was right into it, and then it just bounced straight off of it. So that was my mistake there. And it gets really choppy. There's no other really clear entries. You don't want to go long. Say you just got stopped out where I did. You still wouldn't want to go long right here because it's right into this range high, which is clearly, reacting to it right there. So just too risky. You push up here. You start going congestive. Then you don't reach the EMA here. You push up. First entry long off the EMA. No good bars at all. Anyway, even if it did have a good bar, it's just a first entry. But it doesn't even have a good bar. You start getting choppy again. You push up. You have another first entry. Not a good trade. Just a first entry. And you push up. You reach that measured move. Right at that measured move, you kind of get a little bit congestive, but you don't reach the EMA. Push up again. You don't reach the EMA. There's really no way to get in on this trend very well. Certainly nothing I see in there. And at this point, you don't confirm the high. You kind of just overshoot and then drop down really fast. And once again, overshoots lead to breaks, which you do end up holding here, I believe. So you hold here. Let me draw this right here. This measured move in play, and then notice right here you actually have a second attempt to reach that measured move. But it is looking pretty choppy right there, so I would stay out of that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope this helped in some way. And yeah, I'll see you all next time.